Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia.
Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host. And before anything else, I would like to welcome each and every one of you. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, then I hope that you enjoy this episode. And if this is your end time listening to the podcast, then welcome back. I hope you enjoy this session. This one's a very special episode because I'm recording it with a video. So this is going to be a vidcast. I'll probably upload this on YouTube. So make sure that you follow me there, Alec Cuenca, to make sure that if you want to listen again to this episode, if you're listening to it right now, and you could go watch it on YouTube. So today's episode is gonna be all about the 5 steps to move on, and I'm gonna be quite honest with you guys. This year, 2021, has been a very challenging year for me in terms of relationships. Back in February was the last time that I saw my 11-year girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, sorry. And then I went into the dating phase where I dated one girl and we ended up things back in May. And then I've fallen in love with someone that ended just recently. So in the span of 6 months, I've been able to fall in love, fall out of love, then date someone, fell out of it, and then fall in love again, and then fall out of love again. So it has been a very up and down roller coaster ride for me by far. And the reason why I created this episode is I want to share with you the experiences or the stories and the insights that I learned on how I successfully moved on, or how I am moving on from these situations that I've been in. Also, I got a message from, and I wanna share it here because I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. Hi, Alec. Don't know if you really do request, but I just got out of a 3-year relationship. He was my first love, first everything, in high school love. We were on and off because there were things that he wanted that I couldn't give because we were not legal. So yeah, even though we broke up, he still constantly replies to me and calls me during nighttime to have our deep talks. After a year of being friends, he finally have a girlfriend, and I'm quite surprised that I have not yet shed a tear. Yes, I was sad for about a week, but I can finally say that as the days goes by, I get used to it. Here's one crazy fact why I wanted to read that story is I can relate to it quite relatively well because when my first relationship, the 11-year relationship ended, I didn't shed tear. And sometimes heartbreaks are like that. Sometimes you don't need to cry because first and foremost, your tears are not worth it. In fact, I've cried more times during the latest one than the first one, which is quite really longer from the latest one. But it doesn't really mean that na mas mahal mo yung isang tao kapag mas iniyakan mo siya. It's more of what is the position that you have for yourself. How do you look at yourself? And of course, there's a lot of scenarios, context matters. But for me, that's what happened. And I learned that I was not that invested in the first relationship anymore. And in the previous one, I was really, really invested in that. And so that's why I cried more tears. But if you didn't cry any tears during your breakup, that's okay. Maybe you have that strength inside of you na alam mo na ganun talaga, na papunta na doon, na you kinda saw it coming one way or another, or you understand why it happened in the first place. So, hindi ka naiiyak. So, that's okay. But for a lot of people na hindi ganun na nangyayari, these are the 5 things that I usually see and I experience as well when I was in the moving on phase or right now. First one is denial. tatanggihan na natin. Ayaw po natin na nangyayari yun. Hindi natin tatanggapin. Hindi pwede maghiwalay. Second is the bargaining, is when you say na, hindi, sige, kahit friends na lang. Hindi, sige, kahit ganito na lang. Hindi, sige, kaya pa natin i-workout. Hindi, ganito na lang gagawin ko. You bargain with life, you bargain with God, you bargain with yourself to make the relationship come back or stay longer. The third one is anger. You get angry. You get mad. You get pissed. You see all the bad things that they've done. You remember why it's not working out and you focus on that and you become angry. The fourth one is depression. You don't want to talk to anybody. You just want to sleep all night. You get caught up with your thoughts and it just keeps on ruminating and you cry and cry and cry, or you just plain feel empty. That's the fourth one. And the fifth one is acceptance. You finally accept that truth is real, that is something that happened. Now, all of these things nararanasan niya ng tao. So if you are going through these phases, understand that that's normal and that's okay. Also, I want to add, breakups are okay. Moving on is okay. Getting your heart broken, it's okay. But what's not okay is you staying in the same place where you don't belong. The pain that you're experiencing right now, it's okay. It's better than you staying in the place where it's just going to give you more pain. A lot of people think strength is, your capacity, kung gaano mo kayang i-hold on yung isang bagay. But I learned that sometimes strength comes from you knowing when to let go and when to hold on. Like if you really love someone, you should let them go. And if they come back, that's good. But if they don't, let them fly away. But understand that everything happens for a reason. And that reason will come to you sooner than you expected. So I want to share with you 5 ways on how to move on. This is my formula. When I experienced my first heartbreak, I said, when the second heartbreak comes, I know what to do. So this is what I do. I hope a lot of you guys can use these techniques to move on from your previous relationships as well. So the first one is you need to cut off contact. Yep. You need to block them. You need to mute them. You need to unfollow them. You need to erase their numbers, block their numbers, block anything that can trigger you to message them or to look at them or to stalk them or to go back to your old habits in communicating with them. I believe that, di ba merong sikat na quote na nagsasabi na we accept the love that we think we deserve. But the truth is, I've realized that there's a more accurate quote for that. We accept the love that we are familiar with. And one thing about moving on that is probably the hardest part of it is that you take them out of your system. Mahirap ang pag-move on kasi nasanay ka na. Sanay ka na pagising mo sa umaga, may message mo siya. Nasanay ka na paggabi, inaabangan mo yung good night niya. Nasanay ka na may natatanggap kang pagmamahal araw-araw. And then suddenly, wala. But you gotta understand that there will be times that you will be missing them. You would want to go back to the old you, to the old you two being happy together. But every single time that you feel that way, you are overlooking the fact why you didn't work out in the first place. You focus on the things na magaganda, pero you gotta remind yourself that there's a reason why you're not together anymore. And you should learn to first and foremost kill the triggers or the cues that will get you back or will make you think that that relationship was meant to be or that was so perfect. You gotta let go of it. So what I do is I completely block them off. It's hard at first, especially if you see the pictures, especially if you see the videos of you two together. And don't get me wrong, those memories, They're real, they're genuine, but they're not gonna serve their purpose anymore for your future, for the next part of your life. It's hard to flip a page knowing that someone won't be in it, but the story must go on. Your story must go on. So cut off contact, remove the cues that will make you go back to them. It will help you get them out of your system. It's gonna be hard at first, not gonna lie. But you'll get used to it, just like how you got used to them being in your life. That's the first one. The second one is accept and let go. Yeah. As I've said, you go through these different stages. And the last part is acceptance. And if you have learned to accept what is the reality that you are in, you are not together anymore. The reason why we're so hurting when we're moving on, it's because of the what ifs, the what could be, the what should be. The reason why the last person that I fell in love with was so painful, it's because when you're in your 20s, unlike when you're in your teen years, you start to think about your future. You start to make plans. You start to imagine that wedding, that life in the future. You start thinking about what ifs, what should be, what could be. But it's those ideas that will hurt us more when things don't go as it plans. The reason why you're disappointed is because you're expecting. You have your hopes in the future. And it's not wrong to have plans and dreams, but when only one of you is dreaming for that, that becomes chaotic. So, what you need to do is accept what is. You need to let go of what could be and what should be. Start accepting the truth that maybe you're not for each other at this particular moment right now. Let go of the idea of you two having a nice family in the future, a nice future together. You need to let go of that. And when you let go of those things, you understand more why it had to happen. And also, sa movie ni John Lloyd, sa One More Chance, sabi nila, baka kaya nga tinatanggal ni Lord yung mga tao sa buhay natin kasi may mga taong papalit na mas mamahalin tayo. Cliche, I know. Maybe the reason why God removed them from your life is because they are not the ones for you. Someone better out there. Someone that deserves you for who you are. And that person will be the one who will fulfill all the what ifs, all the what could be's. So accept and let go. The third one that you need to do is forgive. If you came from a relationship that merong malalang nangyari, for example, cheating, it's hard to forgive because all you did was love someone. Wala kang ibang ginawa kundi mahalin ng isang tao. But you experience that kind of pain. And it's hard to accept that in this world that we see na merong balance, we expect na merong balance, na pag nagmahal tayo, may mahal tayong makukuha pabalik. But the truth is, life doesn't work that way. Life sometimes give you the most unfair situations because they want to teach you something. And just because hurt you doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Maybe they're just struggling. I really believe that hurt people. So the people that hurt me, I think about maybe they're hurting inside as well. I put myself in a third person perspective and realize na maybe they're hurting. That's why they hurt me. Don't get me wrong, hindi nabawasan yung sakit na nararamdaman ko. Pero hindi ko na magagawang magalit sa kanila. Now, I've said, magagalit ka in the early phase. That's true. But when you learn to let go of that anger, okay? And you need to. Because when you don't let go of that anger, every decision you will make will be bounded by that anger. For example, I was still angry at my ex my first ex, um, in the early stages of my moving on phase. And then when I was seeing someone, every decision that I would make, everything that we would do, I would always say na, I hate that about my ex. I hate that about her. Good thing you're not like her, ganyan. But it turns out that the more I am comparing, the more that I am bringing my ex into into my current dating, my current relationship, the more that I'm tied up to her, which is something na hindi dapat ginagawa na naka-move on na tao. So I let go of that anger and I forgave her. And in forgiving her, I found out na mas okay pala na magmahal ng walang galit sa ex. Mas okay pala magmahal na hindi naka-move on ka na talaga. Kasi pag nakatali ka pa dun sa galit na yon, kakainin ka ng galit na yon.
We want to say hi and big thanks to the guys from Kumu. Kumu is a Pinoy live streaming app where you can connect and tambay with your favorite streamers and celebrities. Use our link in the description to follow some amazing Kumu streamers.
And imagine this, okay? The more you be angry at someone, the more you feel these negative emotions inside of you. The thing is, when you're angry, ikaw lang nakakaramdam yan. Wala nang iba. And you need to forgive them not because they deserve the forgiveness. You need to forgive them because you deserve the peace. You deserve to sleep at night knowing na wala kang ginawang mali, knowing na you are enough, knowing that you will be loved in the future. And there will be someone out there that will love you eventually. So let go of that anger and forgive them. And also forgive yourself. I know. Forgive yourself for not seeing the red flags, for overlooking the signs that it would happen. Forgive yourself for not knowing any better. Because you didn't. But now you do. So make sure that you bring the lessons that you learned from your previous relationship to the new one. So that's the third one. Forgive.
Hey guys, before we actually proceed to the rest of the episode, let's hear it from our sponsors and the rest of the amazing podcasts on their Podcast Network Asia. We partnered with NordVPN through Podmetrics for you guys to also enjoy the same experience. They have an amazing promo right now that allows you to get 73% off of the 2-year plan plus 4 months free when you use our link in the description and code SMALLTALK before checking out. They also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. What are you waiting for? Sign up for a NordVPN account now.
Hi there, I'm Mish, host of Mishconceptions, the podcast that talks about the common struggles of modern-day millennials and Gen Zs as we all navigate through college, enter the real world, and build our careers. Let's talk about the realities of adulting and corporate world that no one will tell you about. These are the things you wish you knew sooner to get ahead in life or simply just to get by. Join me in my podcast, Misconceptions, as we discuss maximizing college, life after college, building your career, self-improvement, relationships, and anything and everything that will help you on your personal and career development. So make sure you check out my podcast after you listen to this episode. See you there.
Number 4, invest in yourself. The fourth thing that you need to do to move on is invest in yourself. This is the best part about moving on. When you try to shift or focus your attention into yourself, in loving yourself a little bit more every single day, and building something for yourself, and trying to be a better version for yourself, you'll discover a lot about yourself and you'll love yourself even more. Isn't it amazing that we haven't seen the most beautiful parts of ourselves yet? And when we shift all these negative emotions, all this pain and hurt into how we could be better ourselves, we'll become unstoppable.
Hey guys, before we proceed to the rest of the episode, I just want to share something that I discovered recently. I am a firm believer that we need to protect ourselves and our data online. We need to securely access different apps, different websites, different entertainment services as we browse across the internet. And a good thing that I learned about NordVPN. NordVPN makes sure that all of our data stays safe behind a wall of next generation encryption. It's the fastest VPN. We don't need to sacrifice speed for better security. It also offers uninterrupted streaming, and you can use it on multiple devices. We partnered with NordVPN through Podmetrics for you guys to also enjoy the same experience. They have an amazing promo right now that allows you to get 73% off of the 2-year plan plus 4 months free when you use our link in the description and code before checking out. They also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Sign up for a NordVPN account now.
Pain is one of my biggest fuels in becoming better. I I posted it on one of my TikToks that I'm not afraid of getting my heart broken because I know that if my heart gets broken, it's for a purpose. It's to teach me something. And so when I get hurt, when I feel pain, I just use that. Okay, now I know more about myself and I'll invest in myself more. I'll now work out. I'll now work harder. I'll now spend time with the people that I didn't spend time with that I really love. Okay? Kasi pag in love ka, you spend your time thinking about her, thinking about him, thinking about that person. You get consumed na nawawalan ka na nga minsan ng oras para sa sarili mo. But if you invest in yourself and you raise your level, you raise the frequency, the vibration that you have inside of you, magugulat ka na lang na biglang may darating na papantay doon sa'yo. And even though my last relationship was really painful, I'm still thankful, as with all of them. But I'm really thankful because I got to know what my standards were. I got to know what my boundaries were. I got to know what kind of love do I really deserve. And so, moving forward, I'm pretty sure that if someone comes and makes me fall in love all over again, then that person is going to be worth it. Because I know what I want right now. And until that person comes, I will never settle for less. And when you invest in yourself, kahit anong sakit ang maramdaman mo, you'll know that you're gonna be okay. Kasi you have this eternal love for yourself. Unlimited source of love inside of you. Kahit sino pang manakit sa'yo, kahit sino pang dumating tas saktan ka, okay lang. Kasi meron kang unlimited for sa sarili mo. Don't get me wrong, masakit talaga yung mga nangyayaring heartbreak sa akin. Pero okay lang. Kasi kaya ko nang i-sustain ang sarili ko na tinuro sa akin nung first heartbreak ko. So that's the fourth thing that you need to do. You need to invest in yourself. And girl, if you're in your 20s, or boy, if you're in your 20s, this is the perfect time for you to know more about yourself. The reason why we get so frustrated is that we look at social media, diba? And we see all of these cute couples and cute marriages, cute weddings, cute children, and we think, nah, I want to have that. And even though we want to have that in the future, we get so frustrated that we don't have it now. But understand that this is your time, this is your life, and you will get the things that you deserve in its right time. Do not rush yourself. There's a time to be young and play games. There's a time to be heartbroken and to learn lessons. There's a time for you to fall in love and learn what love is. And there's a time for you to get married and to have those cute little children. But that time maybe won't be in your 20s. Most likely, it won't be in your 20s. So build yourself up in your 20s. Kung may dumating, then be thankful. Not everyone gets that. Pero if you are in your 20s, please invest in yourself. So the fifth step for you to move on is to be excited. Unfortunately, the most important people in your life can become strangers overnight. Fortunately, complete strangers can become the most important people in your life overnight. One thing that I've learned when the latest woman came into my life was that love can happen in an instant. Like love comes when you least expect it. And when something like that happens, something like that could happen again. But the next time that happens, you'll know better. The next time that happens, it'll be much better. Because you know what you don't want. You know what you want. And sometimes we think that most of the relationships that we go in does not work, so that's going to be our story. One thing that I want you guys to remember is that you are the one who writes your own story. So if you think that the reason why your relationships are not working is because there's a problem with you or relationships just suck, then that's going to be your truth. But if you think that every failed relationship that will happen in your life will teach you lessons that you will bring in your next relationship, then that's going to be your truth. So the fifth step of moving on is to be excited for the future. Don't be too hopeful, okay? Don't try to chase anybody, attract people. And if you invest yourself, you will attract the right person for you. And don't hope. Don't worry too much about the future. Have faith that whatever you're doing right now, whatever you're experiencing right now, this is the preparation for you for the best relationship that will come into your life. I'm excited. I look at the world as this huge place where there's unlimited possibility. There's an abundance of love and kindness that I can accept. And I will not let my past failed relationships ruin the true meaning of love. And I know that love is kind, love is sweet, love is patient. Love will be worth fighting for. And so when that comes, I just need to make sure that I'm prepared to handle it. So be excited for your future. Let's all be excited for our future. I hope that you see that the relationships that did not work before was not meant to work. If it was meant to work, then it would have been. But the fact that it didn't, it was meant not to. And just because it didn't work doesn't mean you are less of a person, or you have, you should value yourself a little bit less. It's all part of a bigger plan. So stop focusing on the hurt, because if you focus on the hurt, the pain will grow. If you focus on the lesson, you will grow. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned this. If you like this episode, if you enjoy this, please do share this on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And do not forget to tag me at Small Talk Podcast. And share this with your moving on friends or people who have their hearts broken this year. It might help. You'll never know. So always be kind to everyone, and remember that everyone is fighting a silent battle that they don't want to discuss. So be kind to everybody, and thank you so much for listening. This is Alec Cuenca, and this is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. Talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.